Oh boy, am I excited to play Valorant today.
What the fuck?
In this video, I'm going to tell you why Raze is the most broken agent in the game. Well, at least why Raze is the most broken agent in the game when Flights is playing her. Because let's be honest, you're not as good as Flights, and your plays probably aren't going to turn out like this. But there's more to it than just Flights has incredible aim and movement, and we're going to break some of those things down for you today so you can learn a thing or two, or at the very least just be entertained by Flights' incredible plays. But before we get into it, first I wanted to talk about why characters like Raze and Jett are so strong in matchmaking. The easiest way to describe this is let's just take a basic matchup like Phoenix versus an Omen. Omen is jiggle peeking long just trying to spot for info. The moment that he spots the Phoenix, he is going to run away and smoke. Now, most agents in Valorant have a very set amount of time that it takes them to move across the map. For example, if a defender was to try to rotate from B spawn over towards A heaven on bind, it would take them around 13 seconds. This is because they have a steady movement speed and their rotate cannot be accelerated. However, if a Raze player were to try to rotate through spawn and use both of her satchels, she could probably make this rotate in around 7 seconds. Maybe even less if you actually play Raze, because I don't play Raze and I was able to get it pretty close to that. Now, obviously, it's not the rotation time that is so incredible about these agents, and I don't suggest that you double satchel through spawn when you're playing Raze. But the thing that is so strong about these agents is now take that same movement, but use it to close the gap on that enemy that thinks that they're safe. Because although Omen was safe jiggle peeking long versus most agents, he might not be safe doing that versus a Jett or a Raze. This is part of the reason that Jett and Raze are so strong at matchmaking. It's because positions that were safe to play are no longer safe and players are going to have to adapt to this. This is why Flights' Raze is so terrifying to play against, because these players are playing positions that would normally be pretty safe, but then the Raze god comes barreling down from the heavens with his 20-inch cock ready to strike them down. Look at this clip. Did this Viper do anything extremely wrong?
Whatever, I'll introduce myself.
Get out of here.
Oh.
Maybe she could have reacted a little bit faster to the satchel noise, but what? This Viper probably isn't some tier 1 professional player who's playing at matchmaking. They're probably some dude who just got home from his 9 to 5. He's a little above average at Valorant, and he's getting shit on by the best Raze in the game. Like, honestly, tell me what this Omen did wrong in this clip. I'll wait. Like, this is a little bit more of an extreme example, but like, what is he supposed to do against this? He's just supposed to hope that Yoru lands a shot on the Raze that's coming in fucking zooming at Mach 10. This is another thing that these crazy Raze mains do that makes them very difficult to deal with, though. Valorant is a game where crosshair placement is so important. One bullet in this game can kill you, and that's why it's very important that you make sure that when you have to adjust to a target, your pre-aim is good enough so you don't have to adjust that much. You can't really pre-aim a Raze flying through the air that easily. But not only that, if he tries to shoot at the Raze as she's flying through the air, if he doesn't land his shots, his recoil is going to start to kick in. So that by the time that she lands, his recoil might not have adjusted and she might actually have the advantage on him. So although I'll admit he probably should have been able to kill her here, that doesn't change the fact that this is not an easy kill to get. This is why it's really obnoxious when Twitch chat's just sitting there going, he whiffed, when in reality, he's trying to shoot a flying Raze out of the air. Like, that is not an easy shot to hit. Another reason why it's so hard to hit targets in the air in Valorant is because you are used to aiming on a horizontal axis. There are portions of the map where your pre-aim is going to change, but for the most part, you're just going to be keeping your crosshair at head level on the ground. This is why these Raze clips where Flights is just double satcheling in out of nowhere are so difficult to deal with. Because you're combining this with the surprise that we talked about earlier of getting engaged on by a player way earlier than you expected, and also the fighting you in a position that you're just not really used to fighting players. This one's actually my favorite clip that I saw from Flights, though. It's actually incredibly basic, but there's something about it that's just really funny to me. Because of the way that Flights uses his satchels here to get into CT, the site players are completely pinched. There's two homies on site, Raze just flew into spawn, and suddenly they're just completely surrounded. There's no rotates coming in. Not only that, but the fucking Omen is just sitting in spawn smoking. Like on Omen's map, he has two teammates on site and Raze just appeared in spawn and killed him. And this to me is why Flights' Raze is so good. Like, What are they supposed to do about that in matchmaking? Well, I'll tell you what they're supposed to do. Somebody needs to be in spawn prepared for flights to make these crazy plays. Because let's be honest, if there's a player in CT waiting for him to just appear after double satcheling, he's a sitting duck. He's not going to be able to kill that player. Or even more, if he's continually doing these aggressive plays, the team should probably fall back and play for retake because he's going to be using his satchels to engage onto site and catch us off guard. So let's not get caught off guard, let's set up for the retake, and let's play for him to get over aggressive and potentially kill him. But this is matchmaking, not scrims. So more often than not, players are not going to be capable of doing that. I actually had a conversation with Sean Garris a few months ago about this very topic. Me and my duo were kind of sitting here wondering how these Jet and Raze players can just kind of run into sight and absolutely annihilate players, picking up like 3 kills a round, hard carrying these games, and I don't know how they did it. Basically what Sean told me is that the reason players are able to do this is because teams are really easy to read in matchmaking. I don't think I fully understood what he said until I was in a game with my duo recently and we had a Sage on our team who was really complaining that we were doubling up Garage or doubling up C. When we would do this without fail once around, Sage would be like, why are we leaving Garage open? Or why are we leaving C open? This is even if we would tell him that we were leaving it open as well. Players are often too uncomfortable to actually leave things open for retake, and because of that, they oftentimes spread themselves out too thin. On a map like Haven, a very common setup that you will see is 1 long, 1 short, 1 B, 1 garage, and 1 C, because these are where the choke points are, and in ranked, you have to watch the choke points. This means that if you spot the C player, that guy is likely alone on site. And like we talked about earlier, although that guy might be safe in a normal situation, if he's playing against a Raze or a Jet, they can close this gap very quickly. Because a safe position versus a Phoenix is not the same as a safe position versus a Raze. If you move quickly, they will have 1 or 2 people max trying to hold off versus a double satcheling, rocketing, breach ulting, omen blinding. You get the point. It's not gonna happen. Flights' movement is incredible, and there's obviously some of that plays into why these plays work. I don't think that a lesser Raze could get nearly as much accomplished if they weren't able to double satchel like he can. That's part of the reason that it catches players so off guard, is because they've probably never seen a Raze that good. That being said, there's probably also something else to be said about the fact that he is playing a duelist, so even if these plays don't work, just having that big of an engage can be massive for his team because he knows that they are following him up at this time. So even if he does double satchel onto site and get himself killed, he knows that his team is going to be able to follow him up because you have a Raze fucking flying through the air that you have to deal with. You can't be like, if you're looking all over the sky to hunt this guy down, how are you going to shoot the enemies who are pushing in? This was my understanding of how these plays work, though. If you guys have anything else to offer, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. We did one of these recently for Red as well, where we broke down why his Yoru plays are so awesome. So if you guys wanted to check that out, there will be a link somewhere around here. I really do enjoy going to the logic behind a lot of these plays. So if you guys enjoy this type of content, feel free to subscribe down below. We do videos like this every now and then. Also, if you want to... Oh, shit. Is it time for another Patreon ad? Hey, do you suck at Valorant? Yeah, I do. Well, congratulations, because for just $5, you'll get the chance to get your VOD reviewed, as well as get access to all of our Patreon VOD reviews available on the Patreon. This is a great way to support the channel while also getting access to more content. So if you guys are interested in that kind of stuff, feel free to check that out in the link below. I feel like I say that a lot. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. If you haven't already, be sure to check out Flight's channel. Obviously, he is incredible at the game and he's fun to watch. So other than that, I will see you in my next video.